Thank you, Jody. You got me real concerned when you said the featured speaker. I thought for a minute I'd have to do it. I have the pleasure of introducing a lot of speakers at various programs, and I always have this wish and dream. And someday I'm going to stand up and say, with no further introduction, I introduce, but I decided I wouldn't do it this time, and I decided I would compete with the senator in terms of the amount of time it's going to take for the speech. I think my introduction may take almost as much time as what he's going to have for his speech. Our speaker this evening is Senator Dan L. DeGrow, who serves the people of Michigan through the 28th District, which is made up of Lapeer, St. Clair County, and Sanilac County. He served in that capacity since 1982. Prior to that, he served in the State House of Representatives for one term. Senator DeGrow, following graduation from Port Huron Northern High School in 1971, entered the St. Clair County Community College, where he was named Scholar Athlete of the Year. He was a Phi Beta Kappa honors graduate at Michigan State University in 1975. He studied law at Wayne State University, where he received his Juris Doctorate in 1978. He's been a partner in the law firm of Nicholson, Fletcher, and DeGrow since 1979. Senator DeGrow is a member of the very powerful Senate Appropriations Committee. He heads the budget subcommittees on general government, K-12 education, State Department of Education, while also serving as a member of numerous subcommittees, including community colleges, capital outlay, and transportation. In addition, he is a member of the Senate Commerce, Judiciary, Reapportionment, and the Joint Capital Committee, as well as the Legislative Council. Senator DeGrow is also the Majority Caucus Chairperson. Politically, the senator has emerged as a leader in the fight to improve the quality of Michigan schools. In the past year, he has worked tirelessly on legislation to equalize funding for the public schools and to cut property tax for homeowners. Senator DeGrow is married to the former Cheryl Simpson. They have 3 children, Allison, Stephen, and Kelsey. The senator is affiliated with numerous civic and professional as well as political organizations. Some of those would include the NAACP. He received the appointment from the governor to chair the State Chapter 2 Governor's Advisory Committee, the St. Clair County Republican Party, the State Bar of Michigan, as well as the St. Clair County Bar Association. The senator has received numerous awards, and I'm going to highlight just a couple of them, or a few of them. In 1991, he received the Community Service Award from the St. Clair County Community Mental Health Service Board. He received the McDonald's Distinguished Citizens Award in 1989. He received the first Distinguished Alumnus Award from the St. Clair County Community College for 1968. He also received from the Port Huron NAACP branch the Freedom Fund Award for 1987 for dedicated service to civil rights, and he also received the Port Huron Area J.C.'s Distinguished Service Award for his contribution to the community, state, and the country in 1980. Also voted as one of the 10 best legislators for 2 consecutive years by the Detroit News. Senator DeGrow, in addition to that, received the 1993 Henry Toll Fellowship Award. He has been nominated by the National Conference of State Legislators to serve as a member of the following committees: Education, Education and Job Training, Reapportionment Task Force, and Fiscal Affairs and Oversight. These appointments are in effect until December of 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce Senator Dan DeGrow.
Thank you, Larry. It's always a pleasure to play a role in an honors ceremony. Far too often, my work in the legislature has to do with young people who are failing instead of succeeding, kids who drop out or find themselves on the wrong side of the law. Those children just can't seem to face up to the challenges of life, unlike you people here tonight. You've met the challenges head on and have come out on top. We're here to celebrate that accomplishment and your success as a student who has achieved something special. There are many topics a speaker can choose when preparing a speech of this nature. I could talk about the importance of education and how without it, a person's economic future is especially grim as we head into the 21st century. I could talk about the future and how quickly the world is changing and how just 20 years from now, there will be things we only dream about. I could talk about a recent worldwide poll that showed that the most admired nation in the world and the one that people would most like to live in if they left their own country is the United States of America. With all of our flaws, the world still looks to us for moral leadership and to lead the way. Any of these topics would make great speeches, but I want to talk to you about the most important job most of you will ever have in your life. No matter what job you ultimately have, whether it be a doctor, a lawyer, a carpenter, teacher, or even President of the United States, you can be replaced. Someone else can step in and do the job, and life goes on. But there's one job that almost all of you will have where you cannot be replaced. If you don't do it and do it well, there are serious consequences that can't be fixed, and that's the job of being a parent. But the really scary part of our society today is that's the one job we give people no training for. It's scary because being a parent is also the hardest job you'll have. That's why I'm amazed, for the most part, you people will be totally on your own once that cuddly little infant comes into the world. Unfortunately, far too many people are failing in this most important job. They're failing as parents and letting down the people who depend on them the most, their own children. As I said earlier, despite all that you've learned in school, you probably haven't had any formal training as to what goes into being a good parent. You can read a few books, if you're lucky, find a couple classes here and there, but by and large, parenting is on-the-job training. No parent's going to be perfect, but it helps to be on the right track. It's said that a parent's training starts when that future parent is still a child. If that's the case, unfortunately, a lot of people in our state and nation have some poor role models. Think about it as I recite some depressing statistics. The number of children living in poverty has grown. The Children's Defense Fund found that more and more children, regardless of their parents' race, marital status, or education, are sinking into poverty. In 1990, 40% of children in young families were living in poverty, twice the rate in 1973. Graduation rates in our state have fallen from about 76% in 1982 to 63% in 1989. That ranks us 43rd out of 50 states. We've got more juveniles in custody than ever before, an increase of 29%. More teens are dying of violent deaths than ever before. In urban areas, innocent children are gunned down every day. Children are wounded or killed in drive-by shootings. Others innocently find loaded guns while playing, with tragic results. Single teenagers are having more babies, and the number of children living in single-parent families has risen from 22% in 1989 to 26% in 1991. And in the last fiscal year, the Department of Social Services reported about 16,000 substantiated cases of child abuse or neglect. These cases represent more than 26,000 children who were victims last year. Saddest of all is that the age group with the biggest number of abuse or neglect cases were those children under the age of 1. Statistics show that the nation's fastest growing group of homicide victims are infants. Experts name drugs as the main culprit. Adults strung out on cocaine are the ones most apt to lose patience with a crying baby and react violently. Too often, an abandoned child is one who's still living with their parents. Each of you here today has the power to change things. You've already proven yourselves as highly capable with your academic achievements in high school, so I'm sure you have it in you to be terrific parents. What does it take to be a good parent? Well, I've been at it for over 12 years and I have 3 children, and I'm not sure I know. Each day I learn something new, and each day I make mistakes, but I'm convinced there are certain things that make a difference. First, spend time with your children. In today's world, where both parents often work and there are a million things going on, time has become an important and shrinking commodity. Children grow up so quickly and one day they're gone, but parents who spend time with their children are far less likely to find those children in trouble or strangers that they really don't know. One of my favorite mementos of parenthood is a letter I received from my daughter when she was in the 1st grade. Their class was planning a trip to the zoo, and she wanted her father to go. Unfortunately, the Senate was meeting that day, and I would not be able to go. At the last second, I realized that trip to the zoo was probably more important than the meeting, and I canceled and went on the trip. I had an absolutely wonderful time, and the following week, I received a letter from each of the 6 kids that I chaperoned. And the last one was from Allison saying, "Dear Dad, thanks for skipping an important meeting to go with me to the zoo. Love, Allison." That letter turned out to be far more important than the meeting could possibly have been. You can't always skip the meeting, but life and parenthood is an attempt to find balance, And far too often, the trip to the zoo gets the short end of that balance. Second, discipline. Children need and want discipline. You don't do them any favors by constantly letting them have their own way. They need guidance, and unfortunately, there are far too many children out there who simply don't have any guidelines set for them. One of my favorite stories about disciplines comes from Bill Cosby. He explains how nothing is harder for a parent than getting your own child to do the right things. And there's such a variety of ways for you to fail. He tells how he succeeded once. It happened when his son was 12 and had him at the end of his rope. His son had taken up a new hobby, lying. And he was doing it so well that he had raised it to an art form. Disturbing letters were coming home from school, disturbing to Bill Cosby, not his son, for he felt he could get away with anything. Finally, while he was in Las Vegas, he received a call from his wife that was the last straw. When he got his son on the phone, he explained how upset he was and how things just weren't going very well and that his son had lied for the last time. His son did not seem to care. Finally, he said, "How does this idea strike you? When I come home on Thursday, I'm going to kick your butt." He explained how he had a lot of guilt over this, but all else had failed. So when he came home Thursday, he finally found his son and took him out to the barn behind the house. Now, that son may have been slow in studies, but by now he had figured out he was in deep trouble. When he got to the barn, Bill told him, "Son, we're going to have a talk about breaking the law in line." And as he rolled up his sleeve, his son's usual cool gave way to fear, even though his father had never hit him. The son said, "Dad, I know I was wrong, and I'm sorry for what I did. I'll never do it again." He responded by saying he appreciated that and he loved him, but he made a promise and he wouldn't want to break it because his son would no longer respect him. He said, "Oh, Dad, I'd respect you. I'd respect you like crazy if you broke it." "Too late, son. Turn around, but I want you to know this is a form of punishment. I don't believe it." "I hate to see you go against your principles, Dad," responded the son. "I could make an exception," he said, "but I'm not going to. I also won't say this will hurt you more than it will me, because that would only be true if I turned around and let you hit me. This is simply a barbaric form of punishment, but it happens to match your barbaric behavior." And then he hit him, and tears fell from his son's face. And he said, "Now do you understand my point about never lying?" "Oh, yes, Dad. I never understood it better." He said, "Fine. Now you can go, and we won't have to do this again." And as his son turned to leave, he hit him again. When he turned back with the look of having been betrayed, Mr. Cosby said, "I'm sorry I lied to you. Do you ever want me to lie to you again?" He said, "No." And to this day, according to Bill Cosby, his son has never lied to him or his mother. Could he have done anything else to put his son on the road to better behavior? Who knows? They tried everything, but he kept feeling he could wait them out and get away with anything, and as he said, they loved him too much to get away with that. Third, place a value on education. Today, there are so many children who come to school unprepared to learn and whose parents don't care whether they learn. A lot can be accomplished in school. Unfortunately, schools are not so brilliant that they can undo years of neglect from parents. 80% of the learning takes place before the age of 3. By the time children enter school, much of their future has already been cast. Children need to be read to before they start school and when they begin school. They need to know that their parents place a value on education and care how they do in school. If the parents do not care, it's foolish to expect the children to. Throughout the state, I see classrooms where the parents have never attended a parent-teacher conference, where they have never read a book to their children, where they have never expressed that school is important, and that these are often the same people who blame schools for what's going on in their children's lives. It's like the patient who went to the doctor and started criticizing the doctor over the physician's inability to ensure the patient's good health. After listening to the patient go on, the doctor finally exploded and said, perhaps if the patient would start eating right, lose 30 pounds, and get some regular exercise, a lot of the problems would take care of themselves. It's the same thing with children. Before we start blaming others for their failures, we should look at whether we as parents have prepared them for school, have placed a value on education, read to them, and done the other things necessary to lay the proper foundation so learning can take place. Fourth, self-esteem. I see so many children today who have almost no self-esteem and no confidence in their ability to do anything well, and their parents have done little to improve the situation. Look for ways to compliment your children. Tell them how they're doing something well and what a good person they are. If we instill a sense of self-worth in our children, a lot of the hard knocks they receive later in life they will be able to take. It's difficult to accomplish, but I knew my wife and I were doing something right with our son when in first grade he had an assignment, and they had to write each day something in a book. And on one particular day, they had to write on that page what they liked best about themselves. My son wrote one sentence, "I'm totally awesome." When I read that, I knew he had that sense of self-esteem and would survive a lot of the hard knocks this world is going to throw at him. The last point, don't sweat the little things. There are so many things that children will do that will get on your nerves and cause you literally to blow your top. Whether it be loud music, that asinine rap music, clothes laying all over the room, or attempting to wear clothes that you wouldn't be caught dead in. There are thousands of things that will stretch the generation gap to the point of snapping, but none of them are worth worrying about too much. Besides, I remind myself that anyone who grew up listening to Na Na, Hey Hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye probably shouldn't be complaining about someone else's music. Finally and last, do all the above with love, for when all else fails, there's one thing your children need to know, and that is you love them no matter what. There is no satisfaction in the world like having children, and even though they may drive you to the point where you think you need to be committed, the experience can't be measured. Great French writer André Malraux said, "Without family, man, alone in the world, trembles with cold." I wish all of you here tonight and the years ahead lots of luck, and I'm sure people as bright and determined as you will succeed in everything you do. You've shown the perseverance to accomplish anything, and I'm sure all of you will ultimately make great parents and avoid being part of the statistics I talked about earlier. And as my son would say, may all of your children be totally awesome. Thank you, good luck, and God bless.
The students here this evening are the very best of the best in the Port Huron Area School District. Each one of the recipients that are going to be honored this evening are individuals that have had a 3.5 grade point average or better in their 4 years at one of our 2 outstanding high schools. What we will do is call the student who is going to receive the reward or award to the front, indicate the level of the acknowledgement in the program, and what other type of an accomplishment they may have specifically related to the program. I'm going to ask that you hold your applause until we've completed the entire list, and then I'll indicate that we've completed the acknowledgement of all the recipients. We're going to ask the recipients, as we call your name, to make your way to the front, and the president of the board and the president of the chamber will make the presentation of the pins, the certificates, as well as a program as a keepsake for you. And then I'm going to do something that some of the recipients may not appreciate. I'm going to acknowledge the fact that if a parent would like to have a picture, you are more than welcome to come up here and take a picture. I think it's important that you do that. Now that we've given you ample time to communicate as to what it is you expect of your parents, we'll begin the program. We'll be listing the recipients in alphabetical order. The first is Aaron Atwell, second year Gold Bar. How do you like being first? Yeah? Congratulations. Todd Ayat, second year Gold Bar. Todd, I was told it was Ayat, is that right? It was Ayat. Okay, congratulations. Marie Baldwin, first year Gold Bar. Mary Beauchamp, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Amy Beecroft, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma, valedictorian. Allison Belair, second year, Gold Bar. Rachel Bennett, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
Rachel, I think we see. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Danielle Black, Academic Letter. Rico Bonacci, second year, Gold Bar.
Done, Rico. Congratulations. These two.
Heather Boyd, second year, Gold Bar. Nicole Boyer, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Monica Buchanan, second year, Gold Bar.
Congratulations, Monica. Congratulations.
Jennifer Campbell, second year, Gold Bar.
Your mother, she did a wonderful job. Tell your dad he was happy. Congratulations.
Michael Campbell, second year, Gold Bar. Heather Carlton, first year, Gold Bar. Amy Class, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Heather. Sorry.
Amy? Well done. Congratulations.
Karen Collins, first year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
See you, Mom. Congratulations to you. You did a great job, too. No, but tell me, 3.5 in high school.
Joelle Cook, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
Congratulations. Now turn around here and look at your dad. Well done. Yes.
James Cooley, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Tammy Defoe, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Nicole Dane, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Janine Davis, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Katie Drake, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Diane Amy, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma, valedictorian. Lindsay Erickson, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Michael Fontaine, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma, valedictorian. Julie Gable, first year, Gold Bar. Kathleen Gambaro, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Garrett Gentner, second year, gold bar. Rami Hassan, first year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Billy Heacock, second year, gold bar. Amy Lynn Hess, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Matthew Hustek, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Andrew Irwin, second year, gold bar. Jonathan Jelnick, second year, gold bar. Good job, John. Carrie Kale, second year, gold bar. Tanya Klutner, second year, gold bar, salutatorian. Good job. Tamara Knowlton, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Christy Lamming, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Julie Landshut, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Congratulations. Good job. Michelle Lewandowski, second year, gold bar. Thank you. Jan Lohr, second year, gold bar. Good job, Jan. Fatima Mackey, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Eric Manchester, second year, gold bar. Good job, Eric. Veronica Manning, second year, gold bar. Good job. Teresa Marks, second year, gold bar. Tammy Marquardt, second year, gold bar, valedictorian. Marcella McKinley, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma. Tony Miller, second year, gold bar. Good job, Tony. Aaron Nunnold, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma, valedictorian. Eric Osborne, second year, gold bar, academic scholars diploma, valedictorian.
Wasn't sure if Jen was being to talk something. Congratulations. Thanks.
Good job, Eric. Good job. Matthew Osgood, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Teresa Papineau, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma, salutatorian.
Oh, come back, come back.
Should we do that one again, Mom?
Start the film again.
Charles Parent, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
It's coming up. Still think you should have went to Michigan.
Lori Marie Presnar, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Omar Perone, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Good job. Patricia Ray, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Ryan Ramales, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Good job, Ryan. Annie Reeves, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. You gotta turn around and smile now. Elizabeth Rinke, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Good job. Laura Wren, second year, Gold Bar. Eric Rucker, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Margaret Ruffing, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
Brent Sadawi, first year Gold Bar. Good job. Andrea Scherer, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Ann Schultz, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Good job, Ann. Carrie Simpson, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma, valedictorian. Good job. Laurel Skinner, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Carrie Sparby, first year Gold Bar. You see anybody? Colin Thomas, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma. Oh, I'm sorry. Congratulations, Colin. Rosalind Cha, second year Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
That's what I would have said. Well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Jean Torello, second year Gold Bar.
Congratulations. Well, congratulations. You're welcome.
Good job. Jennifer Humphreys, second year Gold Bar. Amo Uriel, first year Gold Bar. Good job. Jamie Van Duzen, second year, Gold Bar. Jordan Vizdas, second year, Gold Bar.
How close was I, Jordan? Pretty close.
Andrea Voigt, second year, Gold Bar, Academic Scholars Diploma.
Congratulations. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Rebecca Watt, second year, Gold Bar. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentation of all the recipients of the Academic Scholars Recognition.
There are many jobs and responsibilities that a teacher must fulfill. One is preparing students for college. By making class enjoyable and taking the time to work with students individually, students are interested in learning and attain the needed thought process that will be helpful in the future. Not only do teachers prepare students for college, they prepare them for life and the experiences and disappointments they may face. Greg Wagner, a teacher at Port Huron High School, has done just that. He has taken the time to help troubled students, not just with schoolwork, but outside problems as well. He has related to his students by showing that teachers are people too, trying their best to make their students excel in the tasks at hand. He is also very involved with students out of the classroom as he coaches football, baseball, and hockey. Mr. Wagner is a wonderful teacher that is greatly appreciated and will be fondly remembered by his students as they venture out into the real world. That's all I have.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to receive this honor, and it's a culmination of a lot of hard work for me. And I would also like to thank the parents of all these students, because without you, my job's not possible. Thank you very much.
Very pleased to accept this year's award to Mr. Gary Young. And Mr. Young, will you please come forward? Mr. Young, I felt that your class was an outstanding introduction to the competitive world of high school. You provided us with knowledge not only in civics and geography, but in life itself. You taught us how to learn, but most importantly, to succeed. With the friendly rivalry and competition you created in your classroom with the Scholars section, we learned how to work hard in order to get to that first seat and be the best. You created an atmosphere where learning was enjoyable as well as challenging. It was the Super Bowl of civics. During our quiz games, you consistently gave the guys an edge on points, but somehow the ladies always came through in the end. The year we were introduced to your exuberant teaching technique was also the year of the Gulf War and Saddam Hussein. We referred to him as the enemy, but you profoundly stated time and time again, Saddam Hussein is a turkey with Scud missiles. With statements like these and never-ending quizzes and current events, we grew to appreciate your wisdom. Thank you again for the time you had with us and for the lifetime worth of learning that you instilled upon us.
Thank you very much. It's a very humbling experience, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to say congratulations to Mr. Wagner and Mr. Youngs. It's a real honor to have been selected by the best of the two high schools for that award. Congratulations. This time I'd like to ask Senator DeGrow if he would please return to the podium. Senator,
Yes, sir.
on behalf of the two high schools in the Port Huron Area School District, we'd like to present you with an academic letter from each of the two buildings, and we'd like to be sure you place this in a very prominent position in your office, preferably in the lobby.
Okay.
That's a token of our appreciation for your speaking to us.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I wouldn't have been here when I was in high school because I didn't have a 3.5, so thank you very much.
Okay, we're moving right through the program. At this point,